Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Hotel Talk. And today we will be talking about everything and anything that is not connected with hotels. Today, my guest is Thales Panagides, who is the author of Odessey to the Heart, an absolutely incredible book, really talking about philosophy, mindset, the journey of life, and really awakening, and so much more. And Thales is here to walk us through that and tell us what he does and who he is. And I'm going to start off with the question, first of all, welcoming Thales. But I asked him before we went live, how do you want to be introduced? And he was like, oh my goodness. So welcome, Thales, and thank you so much for being here.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Farah. Appreciate that very much. I find that when someone asks me what I do and who I am, I find that to be perhaps the most difficult question to ask. If you ask my daughters, I'm Daddy, Baba. If you ask my friends, I'm Bro. If you ask my wife, sometimes it may be Arabimo.
On a good day.
On a good day. So there are various roles that we play throughout the day, but over the years, I've had a tendency to shed or at least not identify so strongly with those roles. So today, as I feel it now, I am this kind of loving awareness of this experience now.
Lovely. That's so nice. I know I always answer the same when people say, yeah, what do you do or who are you? And then I tend to always roll into the what I do, but that's not who I am.
Exactly.
And I always end with, well, my most important role is I'm a mom. Yeah.
Good one.
So,
Good
yeah.
one.
So tell us a little bit about you then, where you grew up, a little bit about your earlier years in life, what led you to Cyprus. I know you've had quite a journey yourself. So let's kind of summarize it for people who don't know you.
Okay.
Or
I'll
even
try to
people who
give
do,
you-
because we want them to learn something new.
Good. I'll try to give you the short version of the past 57 years. I was born in the States, moved to Cyprus when I was 10, attended the grammar school, and then later went to study in the States, earned my master's degree in business, and ended up getting several interviews in New York City on Wall Street, which was, the epitome of success for any MBA student. And I had all the goals and ambitions and dreams of becoming success based on our metrics, Western metrics. And luckily, my uncle said, hey, why don't you go see your cousin who's in Brazil? And I said, okay, I'll go for a couple of weeks and then head back to the States. Well, about 10 days ended up being 10 years.
Wow.
And during those 10 years, of course, I married. 2 daughters were born in Brazil and speak fluent Portuguese. And out of Brazil were born 2 online businesses. So I currently operate 2 websites. One is a swimwear business and the other one is a fitness wear business. And they have been serving me for over 20 years now. So I could say that I'm almost one of the first or pioneers on e-commerce among Cypriots, per se. That is, I don't know what it's like to commute to work and attend meetings. And so I feel very grateful because of that. And so that has been today and still is my business. And then brewing in the background has always been this curiosity about life. My friends say, oh, here comes Thales the philosopher or something. But I've always wondered about people and psychology and trying to understand, what is this all about? And I guess I took a deeper dive in the past 5 or 6 years, more than ever, from personal development to to spiritual development. And what I found, at least for me personally, that spiritual development was personal development on steroids. So it was so much more powerful. At least it resonated with me. And so I
I
began.
love that. I just
Yeah,
want to repeat that
yeah,
again. Spiritual development is personal development on steroids.
right.
What a brilliant quote.
And so I started reading all the great gurus, sages, teachers that have a tendency to have a universal and common thing among all. Among many others that I really have really impacted me deeply are Eckhart Tolle, Rupert Spira, and Moji. And they put into words what I sensed and felt intuitively, but couldn't articulate it in those words. So when I began reading their works and studying them and listening to them, I kept on, yes, this is it. That's how it is. Everything fell in place. Things, the way the world operated, seemed to become so much more clear for me. And now I've been living on this high ever since. Okay, it's not quite like that, but certainly this burden that we often carry, the psychological burden we carry, has been diminished and is so subtle, at least for me. It's so much more remote or in the background. It's a secondary purpose of my life, and the primary purpose is more these energies, these feelings like the vibes I'm getting from Farah, the way she's looking, she's smiling, people around me. And that I just feed off of that now. You know, I could care less what they do, where they're from. In fact, when I meet people now, I tell them, no need to tell me, what you do or what you used to do and where you want to go. Just show me, give me everything you have now with me now. That's all that matters. And so I don't know if I answered your question.
You did.
I went
you
off
did.
a rant there.
But I'm going to dive deeper.
Okay.
Where did this all stem from? There's many people who go through life and they don't have that awakening. Okay. They don't have that need or that draw. A lot of people, it's something sudden that happens in their life, a shock. But for many others, they're just born with this depth. That's why there's this expression, old souls.
Old souls, okay.
So where do you fall into that spectrum, and why did that drive come out?
Okay, I can account for it that it was a gradual transition. As you know, there are two ways to get a sense of this deeper inner self that we all have. And one is the direct method, and the one is the indirect method. The indirect method could be usually a trauma in your life, a painful divorce, financial ruin, or you've been diagnosed with a disease. That will shock your entire belief system. And it could be the breakthrough that you need to destroy all your projections. And if you are able to let go of those projections, then you see the beauty everywhere. Absolutely. I get goosebumps. Now, that's the indirect method. We all probably have a bit of that or have experienced a bit of that. For me, though, it again has been the gradual studying and readings of works. And I knew that something was going on where I became so much more sensitive and overwhelmed, like in a way, like ecstatic with simple things, the tree, the grass on the lawn, the bird. Hey, I can hear a bird, or wow, a bird. I can't remember being a young adult and say, wow, look at that beautiful bird.
Yeah.
And so I find myself doing this much, much more, and it clicked for me truly that okay, I think something truly is happening, and it's in a good way. And that's when I read a passage in The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he writes about the silent sermon. And if you read the book, or for those who did, they may recall a monk with his gathering of pupils, and it was prayer time. And the prayer was a silent prayer, okay? Yet the senior monk there held a lotus flower and just held it as all the monks just were in silence and silence and silence. And one shed a tear. And that monk is the one who understood the meaning of the prayer. That is to see the beauty, the intense beauty that is surrounding us, despite events unfolding maybe not as we had planned for them, but to know that on a deeper level, inherent in all of us, at any time, anywhere, is a sense of peace and a sense of joy. That's yours and your
taking.
core essence. Yeah.
You mentioned that in your book. I loved, I was telling my husband about it actually, the fisherman who when asked, did you catch anything? Yeah. He said, no, but I caught more than fish.
Than you'll ever have.
And the young man said, or the older man said, well, what do you mean by that? And it was however many sunsets I've seen. Sorry, not sunsets, sunrises.
Yeah.
I've seen all these sunrises.
And if I remember, I said, and he said, well, you have time. Mm-hmm. You have money. I have time. Who's richer?
Absolutely.
And that left the businessman a bit stumbled.
Yeah. And then also, for me, what was that resonated in that passage was that the businessman then said, oh, I think I've only ever seen less than a dozen sunrises in my whole life. But this simple fisherman got the wealth of seeing these sunrises every day. Exactly. And it's so true. And I don't know, I'd love your opinion on this. I mean, I see it with my children who are still quite young. And maybe also with me, I'd really try and get them to appreciate nature and just natural beauty around us and simple things, which doesn't always work with iPads and everything else around. But I think they are quite attuned to it. However, and then I see older people, or when I was growing up, my mother was very much like, oh, anything. Like, look how nicely they made that salad.
Yes.
Wow, someone put in a lot of effort. Or look at the design of that dress. Isn't that anything? Or, look at the tree and the blossoms were out. And every time we went to school, it was to admire the rhododendrons. As a kid, we were like, oh, okay, whatever, Ma. I don't know if at some point in the middle, maybe as a child, you appreciate this when you've got that innocence, or they call it the indigo child. And then when you're older, maybe through a shock in your life or just a gradual development, you go back to appreciating. And it's somewhere in the middle that a lot of people get lost, either with their drive for success or wealth or status or whatever it is. So what would your take be on that?
My take on
whether it's
on
also
balance.
Children and older, and it's in the middle that we get lost.
Okay, I think we all evolve. At everyone has their moments, and it's sad when you don't see that hey, take advantage of this moment now, but they're not ready for it. And there was this pastor, I remember he spoke on one of these Oprah events, and he was talking about, sometimes we're born in a family with people who have a container of 8 liters fuel of capacity to love and give. But then there's you who were born from one way or another with 10 liters of capacity to love. And you're telling who your brother, sister, whoever it is, hey, step it up, come to 10. But they're giving their max at 8. They're giving it their all. And really the onus is on us to extend compassion and empathy and simply like, poor person, they're at 8 when they could be at 10. So Farah, to answer your question, it's not a black or white. It's patience. It's hoping that their level of consciousness as a result of self-inquiry or the indirect method I mentioned, will raise their level of consciousness. But as you gradually do, and you get a taste, as Moji say, of the nectar, you don't want to go back.
Absolutely. And as you said, it's that empathy, it's that understanding. You have a whole chapter in your book on empathy. I think I get taught a lot by my kids and just appreciating that innocence. And I'll share a story with you, if I may, which always, just resonated with me and my husband. And we were driving home one day to our new home that we just finished building, and very close to our house, there's quite an opulent house that's kind of high up, and with columns and stone outside, and very prominent. And we were referring to it as Cinderella's house, because it looks like this castle kind of. And we were saying, Cinderella's place, or we lived just before Cinderella's place. And then Yasmina said, does Cinderella live there? And we said, no, it's someone else's, it's the style. So she said, well, are you laughing at their house? And then I said, no, Yasmina, we're not, but it's just a joke between Daddy and I. We're not saying it to anybody else. And then she said to me, yeah, but Mummy, it doesn't matter if you're saying it to anyone else or not. You're still making fun, in a way, of this person's home. And then she proceeded to say, and she said, Mummy, that's someone else's dream. It might not be your dream, but that's someone else's dream, and they built that house. And so it's not nice to laugh at anyone's dream.
Wow.
Whatever it is.
Wow, the maturity
and the
of
maturity,
the
and she
insight
was
of
only
that
about
age.
6 when she said this.
Incredible.
And until now, I'm like, and I tell her thank you, because you teach me so much.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. So children, if you listen, and my youngest, whenever we're driving anywhere, she'll look at trees. She's so sweet. I haven't corrected her yet because I think it's too cute. She doesn't say beautiful. She says beautily. And she says, Mommy, look at the flowers. They're so beautifully today. Everything's beautifully.
So
it is. I think it is really important to nurture that in children and try and keep that with them, that inquest, rather than to let it all just pan into the grades and the results and the money and the success in. So tell us a little bit more about your book. It's called Odessey to the Heart. Actually, when I looked it up on Amazon, there's other ones that are called, I think, Odessey in the Heart.
Oh,
there's two that have a similar name, but not yours is the only Odessey to the Heart.
To the heart.
Obviously, your Greek origin, Odysseus, was a very famous voyager, and that poem, I studied classics, is such an amazing, by Homer, core of our very being and civilization. Correct. So it's very apt that you chose that, but maybe explain a little bit, why did you call it Odessey to the Heart? And why did you choose a train as a mode of transportation in this?
Interesting question. I think in retrospect, I may have chose a different mode of transport nowadays, because,
well, I like the train.
Not many people travel the train, at least not in Cyprus.
But people are getting on and off. I don't know if that's why, because if you'd chosen a plane, it would have been harder to land.
It was convenient.
A bus maybe.
Because every chapter, there are passengers who get off the train and on, and each one shares a story of a wisdom, dispenses a beautiful story to the passenger who is on there for the long run. The journey, in a way, is like this hero's journey, where you go to conquer and achieve something, and you come back not necessarily richer with treasures, but a new insight about yourself.
Richer in your heart.
In your heart. And when you catch a glimpse of how fulfilling that is, that it's your core nature, your essence, that is enough, and you feel full, then it just takes this burden off of us to acquire more, do more, be more, which is good. and not necessarily bad. I want to make that very clear. Yes, set plans and goals and achieve and aspire and dream, yes. But always be conscious and be aware of the intention and never stray too far from the most beautiful treasure of all. As Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven lies within. And for most of our life, that falls on deaf ears. Well, a kingdom of heaven, a kingdom of paradise within. Like, where? Is there a button? Some of my friends say, what are you feeling? How do I get some of this? Well, I'm not taking any mushrooms, I joke. But Moji said this beautiful quote. He said, the nectar, the fragrance of a flower, everyone can smell. Wisdom, empathy, love, compassion. But nobody has found the origin. You can smell it, but you just where you can't touch it, and that's why for many it's like a lifelong journey of, where is this? It's not north, it's not south, it's not in India. So yeah, the book was, sorry.
No, I'm like, was it in your book that there was a story about when you reach the highest goal of spirituality, you're going to see the flower, see the beauty, smell it, and be content to leave it
absolutely.
there.
Well,
yes, I'm remembering.
I think you are.
Okay, so it's not a quote from someone else.
Yes.
But I remember it was so beautiful. You're content to see that flower there, not pick it. You're not trying to take it home. You're not trying to ruin it. You just leave it there for someone else.
Because Farah, as Osho said, to see the beauty in a rose is easy, but to see the beauty in the thorn of the rose requires great wisdom. So it's being able to transcend the noise, the chaos of the world, and seeing that behind it all there is music. Behind the pandemics and the wars and the earthquakes and the abuse, that there is something so beautiful, but you're so focused on, what's affecting you on a psychological level, and you fail to grasp it. There's something deeper than that. So transcend that. And I think, in a way, this is our lifelong journey, to be able to transcend the noise and tap into that deeper dimension, which is mostly the theme of the book.
Yeah. So that's the Odyssey to the heart, the reason.
That is.
I love that. Where did you collect all the stories from? Because each paragraph nearly has a different story and a different theme and a different character or a different reference. So is that a combination of your life?
It is. I guess one of the best habits, if you may, that I've acquired in my life is the habit of journaling. And I've been doing this since my early 20s. So every day, it might be something I saw or heard, or even this interaction with you, Farah. I'll go home and write, I love that story she shared.
Met this really annoying person on a podcast.
No, not at all. So I've accumulated, literally thousands of pages over the years, and I'm so grateful because it also helped, I guess, improve my writing and articulate my thoughts verbally in a better way. So this habit of journaling, I would say.
So you collected lots of stories and quotes and ideas
from everywhere, common people in the street, everywhere, anything. I remember, for example, a quote, and this was in 30 years ago, and there was a magazine called the Reader's Digest, if you remember this. And this journalist asked Elizabeth Taylor what she thought about having her jewelry stolen. And she was very big into diamonds, a very wealthy woman. And her reply was so profound that I use it everywhere with a lot of my friends too. And she told the reporter, I don't cry for things that don't cry for me.
me.
This is so deep, so deep, So material things will give you that brief hit, that brief, kick high, the caffeine high. It'll give it to you, but it can't sustain it. And so... Yeah.
And also, I think with all of these things, I mean, that's how, at least my father always brought me up. They're there to be enjoyed for however long. And you don't know for how long. You don't know how long you're going to be here.
Exactly.
So there's no point, I love jewelry as well, but there's no point having it and then it being in a bank and you don't touch it and you're just so obsessed with how much it cost, which I know many people are constantly, this cost.
Yes.
No, you have it, you wear it, you enjoy it.
Exactly.
And then maybe you don't want it anymore. Maybe, if you forget about it, maybe whatever. But you've enjoyed it for that time.
Exactly.
And that's, nothing materialistic stays forever, and it shouldn't. It's the feelings that are left there. I love that. So I just mentioned my father. What has being a father taught you? Because I remember in our mutual friend Waleed's Mindex event that we were both speakers at, you mentioned a story with your daughters that's also in your book. So I know that that's obviously left a profound impact on your life, being a daddy to two girls. So what's that taught you or helped you see?
It taught me, and I mean this seriously and half jokingly, to be even more patient.
Oh my God, I couldn't agree more. The amount of patience you need as a parent.
To be patient. And, the first words in the Corinthians is love is patience. It's the very first word. And so definitely patience. And as you said, that I learn as much from them as they do from me. And what I've noticed is that sometimes I may think what I do and say falls on deaf ears, but it's being recorded in them somehow and will flower, blossom at some point, I hope, later down the road. So, so when they see daddy, exercising, swimming, because they're not as, I want them to be more physically active, for example. I know that, them seeing me going out every day,
lead by example.
Hey, so at some point I hope it will become a part of their life too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'll share with you another story. Now this one about my son, to be fair to all my children and mention them all. So my son, we were also in the car chatting. So we do most of our chats, I think, on the school runs. And I can't remember what the conversation was, but I said something about, yes, you must always be kind and love each other or love, I don't know, someone. And then my son said, yes, but I will love myself more. And I said, oh, where did that come from? Isn't that what you told us, Mommy? That we have to love ourselves the most? Yes. And I was like, wow, he remembered this comment I'd said, I don't know how many months before. And I said, actually, yes, I didn't say to be selfish, but I did say to always take care of yourself, always love yourself, appreciate yourself. And he said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Mommy. I will love myself the most. I'll take care of myself, and then I'm going to love everyone else. And I was like, wow, it went in some way. I had to tweak it a bit, but yeah.
No, good.
Yeah, it's funny, the things they say.
Eckhart Tolle said, take care of the inside, and the outside will take care of itself.
Yeah, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of itself. Yeah, evolution of that phrase. So you mentioned Christianity a lot, the church. How important is your religion to you?
Well, my grandfather was a priest, in fact, in Cyprus, and my mom was a very religious, but also spiritual person. And there is a distinction. Spiritual is universal for everybody, but I would like to think that all religions point in the same direction and to the one thing, which is love at the end of the day. They use different words and have different stories and narratives. But if you follow the message to the last drop, that drop is all love. And so I hope that everybody, they can squeeze this nectar and get this little drop of love. And when they do, it's just everything appears to them beautifully. Because, Farah, if we are depending on the external environment to affect our well-being and state of being, then we have a very big challenge. If you are depending on everything to go right, financially, relationships, health, at all times, at every day, every day of the week, month, just one category to be off destroys everything else, right? You had a very bad situation with an employee. You're gonna go home. It's gonna be hard to switch.
Yeah.
So,
And the ripple effects of
ripple
that.
effects.
Yeah.
So that's all on the surface. So there's something deeper.
And that's also an important lesson. We can't control everything that happens,
control,
but we can control our reactions to it and how we view it. And then if you do that and just bring yourself back to the present, then it's easier. Definitely.
Exactly.
The Buddhist religion also says we're all rivers leading to the same ocean, all religions.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. So I was going to also ask you, because you talk about karma with kind of question marks in your book. Do you believe in karma?
That's a very good question. And I think about karma often because there are some who strongly oppose it and don't believe it. My take is I do believe that your life, if your level of consciousness is low, the vibrations that you're giving out in the world are constantly low, it's going to be reflected back at you, okay? And people who vibrate with love, compassion, they're not drawn into this negative energy. So they're less likely to be affected in the future with something negative. What I mean, I didn't reply accurately. I'm trying to make sure.
Before you get all, I don't want to use the word Bible bashers, but people calling you after, it's like, what did you...
Karma, there's ego attached to karma because, he's bad and it's going to come back, or she is going to come back. There's a bit of ego. Why would you wish or hope something comes back as someone who did you wrong, for example?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We could could make this connection. We witness, I'm sure both of us often witness karma, like, wow, there you go, karma.
Yeah.
But I joke with people who do good deeds and you just got some karma credit. I say that to people, you get some karma credit. So, yeah.
And I guess it's just a basic law of attraction, isn't it? I mean, when you're a negative person focusing on negative feelings and emotions, then you're just going to attract people and circumstances that are also like that. Even natural ones. I mean, I know so many examples of things going wrong for some people. I don't wish it for them.
Right.
But then I'm like, well, every day they're just negative. And then positive people, yes, not everything goes right all the time, but they end up, being in good places more often than not.
True.
And in good,
absolutely
circumstances in their life. So, in that respect there is. But yes, and then we go a bit more into the evil eye, where people are like,
evil eye,
and then, So empathy and kindness. I don't know if you're aware, but our hashtag at St. Raphael Resort is Radiate Kindness.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
wow,
so we're very
nice.
much for kindness
That's
here.
a good one.
I think that's our philosophy that has always kind of been our underlying core of our hotel, being 100% family owned.
Excellent.
This hotel started off, we're on our 36th year now, but
36
imagine. And my grandfather wanted to build the hotel for many reasons, but one of them was to, employ the local community, to give back. He was also very religious, same religious philosophies, being Greek Orthodox here, and he really wanted to build up the community. So again, we're back to hotel talk and connect people and have a base for his family. So kindness is really important to us. And of course, empathy, you talk a lot about. I'm also really a very big believer in being empathic. So, yeah, I don't know, to tie the two together, do you have any more thoughts? You've got a whole chapter in your book of empathy. How important do you think that is? And then I've also written down here tolerance. And how can you be more tolerant to people who are not even close to being there yet, who are negative and who are just maybe irritating?
Well,
how do you not let that affect you?
It takes practice, Farah.
Yeah, definitely.
Tolerance is a strong word because it means like you're having to put up with someone. Yeah. But I tend to be patient with people and not draw any conclusions or have any expectations of people. In fact, I had this interesting conversation just yesterday with a friend, and I told her that I get along with just about everybody, and because I don't have high expectations from anybody. However, the person I chose to marry and love is the one that is also the source of a bit of pressure in the relationship. And the reason is, Farah, because I have expectations from my partner. So that is my practice. So that is my work to do. Because recognizing that I have set these expectations, my work is to diminish them. And when I do, it will flourish even more. And so I think a lot of the stress and tension in most of our day-to-day interactions with people is because we set these expectations. And I know, for example, a friend said, well, of course I demand from them this and this and that. Well, then as long as you demand A, B, C from them, you'll continue to feel this tension in you, this bitterness, this having to tolerate. What a way to live, having to tolerate with the person in front of you, to put up with them. That's not a good way to live your life. So practice to be more patient, reduce your expectations if you can.
That's why I've been saying that for years with one of my closest friends who you might also know, Kareem, about the key is not to have expectations.
Excellent.
And it's much easier said than done, though. I was recently very, very disappointed from a close friend. We have got over it. And I realized, wow, the whole reason I was so upset was because of this subconscious expectation that they fell short of, and hurt me in a way that they didn't intend to. But we did get over it. But it's so true. Expectations. And then the other thing that my husband calls me out on quite a lot. But I think when there are people who I'm just very different from, or to use this strong word, tolerate, I don't have to tolerate them, but I equally don't expect them to really like me. I'm fine with not being loved by everyone, so I just remove myself. I'm like, we don't need to be, and so I also have that quite a bit. I just think, it's nice to get along with everyone, but it's not expected. It's not realistic. True. There's different people. Maybe some people don't like how I look. Maybe some people, and that's fine. But then we don't have to pretend. I think there's so much superficiality in the modern world, and I think I don't know, because here we're obviously this microcosm in Cyprus, so everything is emphasized so much more than maybe in bigger places.
And I would imagine even more so for you and your role and position. My gosh.
Well, I just find it quite funny. I've always just been me, unapologetically. I'm who I am, and And
you come across like that. I sent you an email this morning. You come across so authentic. You have good vibes. People feel comfortable around you. And so whatever you're doing, continue doing that.
But some people don't like it. I mean, I've been stopped randomly, and people have told me, oh, you do all your lives on Instagram and Facebook promoting veganism, or they're like, you look so pretty with makeup on. You really shouldn't come on, without makeup, or. And then I'm like, no, but that is me, like, and I'm not that bad, Like, what's your point? Like, or you go to a party and you see people, it's like this sweating game, who's going to break and say hi to the other one first. And it's very tiring, and it does make me laugh, and I think you've just got to have a lot of humor with it when faced with, this type of, thing. So let's, on that note of veganism, you're quite into your healthy living, aren't you? And
I try to be. I try to be. More so on the fitness side.
Yeah. So let's talk about fitness and the importance of holistic well-being.
Okay. Well, for me, it's probably not so much for the health reasons, but because the way it makes me feel. I like cycling, running, swimming. It's like one long meditation. And like when I go out for a 2 or 3 hour bike ride, that's 3 hours of meditation, connecting with, earth,
nature, and yourself.
And I see it in no way as, oh my gosh, I have to train, or it's so a part of my life, as like when we take a shower, oh my God, I have to take a shower again. You just habitually you do it as a part of your life. So when fitness becomes a part of your life, not even a habit, it's ingrained. It's a way of living, a way of being, because of the way it makes you feel, and not because, I'm going to live longer, or yes, I might die younger, and all those other reasons. It's not to lose weight or anything. It's just I feel great. I feel amazing. In fact, I tell my wife, as soon as I come back from an exercise, that is the best time to ask me for something. You want to go out for dinner? We'll go out for dinner. Because it just feels so good.
Yeah, a lot of vitamin L, vitamin love.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. We spoke on so many things. And have you read the 5 Love Languages?
Deanna mentioned
that.
that
It's really. I'm trying to think of the.
Was it Wayne Dyer?
No, of the name of the author, but Dr. Chapman. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and he also talks about it slightly differently, but this. Canister, I want to say, but tank. The love tanks. And it's all about filling up. And when their love tanks are not full, then that's when they feel low self-esteem, they feel underappreciated, they start feeling negative. But he speaks about it all. I loved what you said, that some people have the capability of 10 and some have 8. In his case, he talks about everyone has a different language that fills that up.
Oh, yes.
So, some people, it's the act of giving, so it's presence. So whether that's, small things, I bought you, I picked up this flower for you, I thought of you on my business trip and I got a magnet, and that fills them up. Other people, it might be just to hold their hand or give them a cuddle while you're watching Netflix, or the sense of touch. Someone else, it's words of reassurance.
And may I ask, which ones are yours?
Oh, goodness, interesting. I think I'm acts of service, deeds, yeah. So I need, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves a diamond ring. My husband's listening to this. But no, that's not my, I'm joking now. I think definitely it's, that help. Like, I'll be there for you. I'll support you. I'll help. So that I think that's probably, that appreciation. I think the words are lovely to hear them. But for me personally, I'm okay. I'm quite good at giving myself that self-worth and reassuring myself, but it's having someone actually next to you being there. Yeah. What would you say?
I think I'm like you too. Yes. I don't necessarily have to hear it. But it's nice to know that,
to see it. Like, I know you were busy, so I'll go and pick up the kids, or I know you're busy, so I'll help with,
Exactly.
And just knowing that someone's
just
there.
Knowing, exactly. Just knowing that someone's got your back.
Yeah.
That's well said.
Exactly. You said so many quotes. Do you have another one you'd like to share with us?
Well, you did ask me prior to the
Yeah, to
interview.
get one ready.
I said, "Oh my gosh, I have so many. So which one or two am I going to dispense?"
Yeah.
You know.
Please, come on. Let's have loads. I love it.
Well, two very very profound quotes, at least that appeal so much to me right now where I am in life, is one by Rumi, and he said, "Only from the heart can you touch the sky." And this is so profound because putting the lens of love, you know, wearing the lens of love and allowing love to flow from within you outwardly, then everything is going to be reflected back to you equally as love, as beautiful, and even the darkness, because you shine so much light. The presence of darkness is very difficult to surface
Yeah.
when
When there's
they're
light.
overwhelmed. Never.
I love that.
So that's one of them. The second one is by Papaji, and Papaji comes from the Indian lineage of many other gurus. His guru was Maharaji, and so he said, "Whatever comes, Farah, let it come. What stays, let it stay. And what goes, let it go." Let me kind of help offer some clarity to what does this mean. This means acceptance above all, because you can't change what already is. Now, people will argue, but Thales, am I to accept that I am in an abusive relationship? The first thing is, yes, you accept that you are in one, because only after you accept it, then you
And
can
let it go.
let it go. Exactly. You can approach or alleviate and remove yourself from the situation from a non-toxic energy, using, empathy, forgiveness, moving on, I'm over, but without fighting it, without resisting it, without because people get into situations and say, I'm gonna get revenge, So it's not the way to go, and you're not going to sleep well at night. And there's this constant source of stress within you, tension. So acceptance is letting your body to relax and allowing this universal intelligence to help you get out of the situation you're in. I don't know if the audience is like,
I love it. I
this
think
is
so,
guy-
'cause it's so
this guy is
different.
talking about stuff I don't understand.
What's he on? No, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that reminded me of another saying, which is, if you love someone, let them go. If they come back, you've always had them, and if they
Yeah.
don't come back, you never had them in the first place.
Exactly. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
and also just being, very few people come into your life for a reason, a season, and very few a lifetime.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good
And so,
one
and
too.
then, but whatever however long they're in your life for, there's a reason, and
There
then
is
you
a
take that reason and hold it close. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh my goodness, so many sayings are coming up now, and I love it. It's just brilliant. I know you're very good friends with Michael Virardi. He's also been on this podcast.
Indeed, I saw that.
And the train actually won a quote, which goes back to your book, and using this metaphor of a train to go through life. Claire Simeu, who was on this podcast, also said about a train that people get on and off.
Oh, okay.
And then you can enjoy, those people, and it's the ones that stay with you to the end. But she's enjoyed everyone's company. I love it. Let's go for the bonus question.
Oh, my God.
So this is a bonus question. So
Oh, God.
everybody gets asked a bonus question, and our team at the hotel all get to write a question. They don't know who's going to pick it.
And do I get to ask you a bonus question?
Oh my goodness, you can
We
actually.
can reverse
Let's do that. So I'll read that.
Okay.
Oh,
do I get to? Yeah,
I'll
that's the
take that one.
That's
that one.
the one.
Okay. So let's see. This one's typed.
Oh, this is a
This
cute
is fun.
idea.
Actually, some of them are philosophical, but this is not. What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh my gosh, the weirdest thing
The weirdest
I've
thing.
ever eaten. Can I pick another
If
one?
you get another, you can, but
I
let's
can't
think.
weird.
The weirdest thing.
First of all, that's a weird question.
It
Okay.
is. I don't know who asked that question. Whoever it is, one of our team. The weirdest thing you've ever eaten.
I'll have to pass.
You've never eaten anything weird?
I can't think of something exotic or something
Not exotic.
where,
It might just be Marmite.
I guess
Or like,
an eel, if you
know,
may, an eel.
an eel, yeah.
Yeah, an eel's a bit weird. It's like a snake in the
Yeah,
sea. So
pretty
yeah,
gross.
an eel.
I think
Okay.
most people don't. Yeah. Do you want to pick another one?
I want
more
to pick one
profound?
for you. I want you to pick
Oh
one.
my goodness!
Okay,
I
Rob.
can't believe this. We're like swapping roles. Okay. There you go. Shall I read it or
Yeah,
you read it?
read
You read
it.
it. Let's swap it.
What is your favorite song ever, Farah?
My favorite song ever. Oh goodness! I think I've just got too many to pick one. I'm a massive, shocking. I think for people who didn't know me in my younger days, but Guns N' Roses fan. So that would be probably "Sweet Child of Mine" would come up for that. But then I also
Sweet
love
Child,
country music. And,
You love country
yeah.
music. I would not
Yeah,
have guessed
so,
that.
There's one, I think, that's very deep. Who sings it? And it's I believe most people are good.
Ooh,
And the lines
I
are.
want to write that
I'll
one
send
down.
it to you. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's, I believe most people are good, and most mothers ought to qualify for sainthood.
Who sings it, by the way?
And I can't remember now. I'll put I'll put it in the show
Country
notes.
music.
And and it's just to make the most of life, and just be positive and see the good in people. So I love that song. Whenever I'm feeling a bit, I'll put it on and be in my car. Yeah. But there's lots. I mean, there's so many. And Ed Sheeran, I mean, from the
Ed
newer
Sheeran,
artists,
yes,
he's amazing and just so
yes, I love
deep.
him
And I
too.
think if you know a bit of his story, it's really. But there's just amazing songs. I really appreciate music in general. Yeah. What's yours?
Mine is, well, I grew up in the 80s, late 80s. So at the time, Michael Jackson
was going to say
was
Madonna, Michael
huge,
Jackson,
Madonna,
Prince.
And Prince. So I think Billie Jean is
Billie
one of my
Jean.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly for, the tune, but also the memories that
See,
come
Billie
up.
Jean, a bit of trivia. Billie Jean was on weeks and weeks at number one, and then was finally knocked off by Come On Eileen.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it was
which
a massive.
song was that?
Come on, Eileen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a bit of trivia that I remember.
Not a great song to be knocked off by.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's a catchy
There
tune.
you go,
Yeah.
some trivia from the 80s.
You had Asimenos on, I think.
I
one of the
did,
DJs,
yes, I know.
So did you do the whole Caribbean disco scene
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, he spoke about it a lot. And
Oh,
then he
wow.
started reminiscing about things that were before my time. And he's like, Gotti, you remember? And I'm like, I don't know how old you think I am, but I wasn't in that part. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think Asimenos is a legend in Minnesota. I mean, he like literally brought up so many generations of people going out and nice songs. So yeah. Would you like to pick another one? Maybe a bit more profound.
Okay.
It's fun, the random questions. I love it. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you picked this one. Are you truly happy, or is there something missing?
Oh my gosh, I am overwhelmed with happiness.
Aww.
So grateful that this is a miracle, and the fact that we're here speaking to each other, that we can see each other, hear each other, smell, stand.
Yeah.
If you don't see the miracle in that, it's hard for you to see the miracle anywhere. So without a doubt, and it has nothing to do, again, with anything I own or achieved, but just this state of overwhelming gratitude, and almost feeling like, just, why am I so lucky? Why? And just, as
Because you
my
deserve
mom
to
said,
be.
my
We all
mom
deserve
said,
it.
wake up every day. And I'll say this in Greek for the Greek listeners: Valle do stavros σου. And she put your cross and just say thank you, thank you, thank you. So if there's one prayer you can, if you don't remember mantras or prayers, just say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I promise you, those 3 words alone will put you in a happy state. I
Yeah.
promise you that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Thank
And
you.
gratitude.
Thank you.
Just to have gratitude.
Yes.
That's another thing. I think many people aren't actually taught how to pray properly. It's you pray for that. If you lost it, pray for that. If you want something, pray for it.
Exactly.
But no,
Yeah.
it's actually the first rule of prayer is just to say thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you for everything we have, for our bodies, for the food we eat, and just to be grateful. What a lovely way and a lovely question to end it on.
One last
Oh,
one
no,
for
you want
One
another?
last one. I want to ask you questions now. One last
We've got
one.
to do another
Last
whole
one.
episode.
Last one.
You'd be a
Last
good
one.
interviewer. Are you
Oh,
going to read
I'm the
that?
one who
Yeah.
reads it.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, this is a long one. How do you feel about global warming
Oh, my
and
goodness.
sustainability?
Wow, that had to come to me. I think,
Do you act to try to help? Ooh,
oh, my
this is kind of
goodness.
deep with the last question closing out the podcast.
Well, I should say, if anybody's listening to this and doesn't know that about me, follow St. Raphael for more information. So, yeah, for how do you feel about global warming? So, and sustainability. So, global warming upsets me a lot. Recently, we had obviously a lot of dust in Limassol and Cyprus. And I think all over the world, we've seen weird weather. And definitely here, nobody's talking about it. No one's like, oh, I mean, we have the Hamsini that always came to Cyprus, the dusty, the red sand, the 50-day sand from Egypt. We got a little bit of that every year, but only at a certain time of year, and that was it. And now it's becoming like the norm, and people are fine with it, and everyone's hiding behind their finger. Nobody's saying, oh my goodness, like there's a problem and we have to act. And everybody's waiting for the government to do something, or they have this very selfish view of, well, we've just got to learn to live with it and it's fine. And it really upsets me. And I think that the biggest contributor to that is our drive for superficial wealth and abundance, which we don't need. And I think it's tied into the old-fashioned thing of, meat is wealth and excess food is wealth, and that's achieving something. Exactly. And I think that in breeding and eating dead animals, we're not only harming ourselves and our bodies, we're also not ingesting. I mean, when you ingest death, you can't expect to feel alive.
Yes, death. Wow.
And then the world can't sustain these factory farms. I mean, in China, they've built the first multi-story factory farm where they have, I don't know how many floors, tens upon tens upon tens of floors of pigs in crates. And these are animals that are cleverer than dogs.
They can be pets.
They can be pets, and they're amazing pets. They're much easier to train than a dog. They're amazing. They can do puzzles. And they feel and they know everything. And it's not pigs. They are individual animals that are having their babies taken from, that are screaming in pain. And when they're killed, their adrenaline is at its highest. They're full of antibiotics. And there's just diseases there. Yes. And then we wonder why there's pandemics. Yes. And all of this just really upsets me. And I just feel that everybody needs to wake up and, smell the coffee and see it for what it is and do something. And, definitely stop the single-use plastics, definitely. Yeah. Yes, having a short shower can help, but it really doesn't make any difference. All of this is rubbish. We need to stop our single-use plastics, stop our reliance on unnecessary abundance. I love clothes, but try and be sustainable. Try and source them ethically. Try and keep them. Keep them in your cupboard. I have clothes from like 90. I was laughing. I saw a mutual friend, Waleed, the other day, and I was like, Waleed, I had this in 95. Do you remember? And he was like, no. But keep your stuff. And so do I act to help it? I definitely do. I feel very grateful that I'm in a position at St. Raphael Resort that I can try and make a change and try and showcase that big organizations can be sustainable and have a lower carbon footprint. And so, yes, radiate kindness comes with what's on our plate and what we do for the environment. So if you're listening, everyone, please try and do your part. We had Let's Make Cyprus Green founder Eleni on this podcast as well. Really interesting episode. So yeah, listen to that, and yeah, let's all try and do our bit. Yeah.
Excellent. Well said,
And
Farah.
you
Very well
on
said.
global warming.
I cannot articulate it as well as you did. So you did an outstanding job. I guess I second everything you said. I would add that even prior to becoming a vegan or vegetarian, when you become more conscious within, then it's a consequence of that will be to be more to eat less meat, let's say, to be more conscious of the environment and the impact you have on the environment, things you do, like recycling. I'm into to all of that. But if everyone plays even just a small part, it's the beginning. And
Yeah.
I'd like to think we are evolving. I would like to think so, and that it will get better.
Positive thoughts,
Yeah.
exactly. Thales, thank you so much.
you.
Everyone, Odessey to the Heart is available now at St. Raphael Resort not bookshop, our souvenir shop, so you can get it here. And of course, for those listening from abroad, on Amazon. So yeah, it's available there. It's a really reasonably priced as well. And it's just an amazing book. So it's good summertime reading. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Farah, so much for all of this, and what you
Appreciate it
do
so
and how
much.
you are. And I love the interview. And
Thank you. I really appreciate it too. Take care.
Thank you.